This is a musculature review of the leg. The muscles of the leg are broken into 4 major compartments: an anterior compartment, a lateral compartment, and then 2 posterior compartments, a superficial and deep posterior compartment. Beginning in the anterior compartment, these are going to be the primary dorsiflexors of the ankle, as well as extensors of the toes. Moving from medially to laterally, we first find the very superficially oriented tibialis anterior muscle. This muscle originates from the lateral condyle and superior half of the lateral surface of the tibia, and then inserts on the medial and inferior surfaces of the medial or first cuneiform and the base of the first metatarsal. Collectively, because of its orientation, the tibialis anterior serves to dorsiflex the ankle and invert the ankle. If we remove the tibialis anterior, just lateral to that, we will find the extensor hallucis longus muscle, or EHL. The EHL originates proximally on the middle part of the anterior surface of the fibula, as well as the interosseous membrane, which runs between the tibia and the fibula. Distally, the EHL attaches or inserts on the dorsal aspect of the base of the distal phalanx of the great toe. Because of its orientation and attachments, the extensor hallucis longus muscle acts to be the primary extensor of the hallucis or great toe, and it also contributes to ankle dorsiflexion. The final muscle that you will find in everyone in the anterior compartment of the leg is going to be the extensor digitorum longus muscle. Also known as the EDL, this muscle originates from the lateral condyle of the tibia and the superior 3/4 of the medial surface of the fibula. Additionally, it also has attachments onto the interosseous membrane running between the tibia and the fibula. Distally, the EDL attaches onto the middle and distal phalanges of the lateral 4 toes. Because of its orientation and attachments, this muscle serves to be the primary extensor of the lateral 4 digits, and it also contributes to ankle dorsiflexion. Lastly, in the anterior compartment, you will sometimes find a muscle known as the fibularis tertius. The fibularis tertius originates from the inferior third of the anterior surface of the fibula, drawn here, and it inserts on the dorsum of the base of the 5th metatarsal, as seen here. Because of its orientation, this muscle acts as an accessory muscle for ankle dorsiflexion as well as eversion. Moving into the lateral compartment of the leg, we have 2 muscles, the fibularis longus and the fibularis brevis. Beginning with the fibularis longus muscle, this muscle attaches on the head and superior 2/3 of the lateral surface of the fibula and inserts on the plantar aspect of the foot on the base of the 1st metatarsal, which is lost here because of the plantar musculature intrinsics of the foot. There you are. I guess it helps if I didn't get rid of the 1st metatarsal. Because of its orientation, the fibularis longus, which is also known as the peroneus longus, acts as an everter of the ankle as well as a weak plantar flexor. Sitting underneath the fibularis longus muscle is its baby sister, the fibularis brevis muscle. This muscle attaches on the inferior 2/3 of the lateral surface of the fibula and has an insertion or distal attachment onto the lateral side of the base of the fifth metatarsal, also known as the styloid process of the base of the fifth metatarsal. Because of its orientation, this muscle also serves as an everter of the ankle and a weak plantar flexor. This leaves us with the two posterior compartments of the leg. The superficial posterior compartment of the leg contains three muscles: the gastrocnemius, the soleus, and the plantaris. The large and superficially oriented gastrocnemius has an origin or proximal attachment onto the condyles of the femur. You will note that the gastrocnemius has two separate attachment sites here, or heads. The lateral head of the gastrocnemius attaches onto the lateral aspect of the lateral condyle of the femur. And the medial head of the gastrocnemius attaches onto the medial condyle and the popliteal surface of the femur. Distally, the gastrocnemius inserts or attaches onto the posterior calcaneal tubercle via the Achilles tendon. If we peel the gastrocnemius away, deep to that you have the much broader soleus muscle. The soleus has a proximal attachment or origin onto the posterior aspect of the head of the fibula laterally. It also attaches onto the superior 3/4 of the posterior surface of the fibula, and then the medial border of the tibia. So it spans both bones of the leg. Distally, the soleus attaches onto the posterior calcaneal tubercle via the Achilles tendon. Sandwiched between the soleus and the gastrocnemius is a very small muscle known as the plantaris muscle. This muscle arises proximally from an origin on the lateral supracondylar ridge of the femur, superior and posterior to the attachment of the lateral head of the gastrocnemius. It runs down the entire length of the leg and then shares an insertion or distal attachment with the gastrocnemius and soleus on the posterior calcaneal tubercle via the Achilles tendon. Moving into the final compartment of the leg, the deep posterior compartment of the leg, we will find a variety of muscles that serve the primary function of plantar flexion of the ankle and flexion of the toes. Moving mostly medial to lateral, the first muscle that we come to is the tibialis posterior muscle. This muscle originates along the interosseous membrane between the tibia and the fibula, the posterior surface of the tibia, and the posterior surface of the fibula. So it has a very broad orientation. It travels distally and fans out on the plantar aspect of the foot, with insertion points on the navicular tuberosity, the plantar surface of the cuneiforms, and the plantar surface of the cuboid and bases of the second, third, and fourth metatarsal. We'll remove some of these other intrinsics to help see that orientation. There you are. This muscle, if you remember your clinical anatomy from your professional programs, looking at the medial aspect of the ankle, serves as the tom in your Tom, Dick, and Harry muscles in the posterior medial aspect of the ankle. If we remove tibialis posterior, the next muscle that we come to is going to be the flexor hallucis longus muscle. This muscle originates on the inferior 2/3 of the posterior surface of the fibula, as well as the inferior parts of the interosseous membrane. Distally, it attaches on the base of the distal phalanx of the great toe. Because of its orientation, this muscle serves to plantar flex the ankle and flex the great toe. I apologize for having removed the muscle previously, but the final muscle within the deep posterior compartment of the leg is going to be the flexor digitorum longus muscle. This muscle originates along the medial part of the posterior surface of the tibia and inserts distally, as you see here, on the base of the distal phalanges of the lateral foretoes. Because of its orientation, this muscle serves to plantar flex the ankle and flex the lateral foretoes.